I feel like I have brought upon the storm that I was trying to avoid. While the last chapter has people all riled up to rampage, this chapter is arguably a continuation. Truth be told, it was a rare moment that I decided to check on the spoiler, and before I even got to look at the pages, a comment made me begin singing Doraemon's theme song. After the chapter release, I can say that while it depends on your view on a specific pairing, I find the chapter to be decent, only to hit a wall of absurdity. This chapter is like the prime definition of mixed bag. Reviews are a form of opinions from one or two people, meaning what I think can truly differ from yours. I'm explaining this because it is up to your mind whether you judge this chapter for the desire that you wish to have. My explanation on my issue with the chapter may not sync well with yours, as the last chapter brought in tons of negative feedback because of a decision for its grandest battle. This chapter is arguably not as bad, though let's go over the good part. Mavis and Zeref took nearly entire chapter to themselves as it draws the definitive conclusion to his character. If you don't like the pairing, this would really put you off. Otherwise, you may like this a lot. As neutral I look at this, I would say it is decent. What I like about it is how it manages to play off as a tragic character story closing his tale. Mavis has to take the most difficult task, to end Zeref for good, in which has Mavis struggle to make a move. The idea behind it is her love for him will always exist, so it has her broken and suffered the curse that Zeref has gone through. Mavis struggling with her mind was rather good, showcasing that Zeref is not the only person suffered the curse. It does have that vibe of broken-hearted person killing his or her lover to end misery. It reminds me of another manga that I can't say since it is a huge giveaway, but know that it was written well and made the moment more special. The question is if it was done well here. It all comes back to the full circle, with Mavis being the start and end point. Realistically, Mavis didn't want him to die, but he has to be punished. So I was fine with that conclusion. It's a tragic yet happy ending that to save the world, both must disappear from the face of the planet. The art is drawn neatly well, and how good it sequences the sanity of Mavis with Zeref. I sort of wish that characteristic was there in the first place, and I mean more of his portrayal that would actually leave you guessing rather than playing safe. There's some neat drawing on the significant panel, including the two lovers not leaving each other's side ever again. I guess instead of "I want you to help me to live," it's "to die." That's good to know. I want to say that the whole Mavis and Zeref was really good, and if you like the pairing, that's perfectly fine. I just have some issues with few points that I want to address. For starters, the dialogues, mainly towards the end, are rather a bit tacky. Mavis comes off playing like Helga from Hey Arnold with his back and forth wish, or a yandere. I didn't mind much since she was meant to be insane, so that's fine. The morale of love conquers all could have said in a less tacky approach. I understand the concept of the series, but the choice of words could have handled more effective. Next, the solution to die in peace as a mortal is basically getting love like a kiss, and that feels cheap. They have already done that technically, so why start now? I get that Mavis got the idea from the battle against Jacob, but the solution is off from something that was already established. I guess you can argue that it depends on the kiss, like who approaches first and whatnot. I don't know. It's confusing as it applies that it's making the rules as it progresses. Lastly, as much as this is a sweet moment for those two, the background behind it is lackluster, though not necessarily on the pairing, more so with Zeref. While he admits defeat, the fact he got defeated in a normal fashion and carries off without any more input towards the protagonist Nasu doesn't feel sweet justice. It feels like another arc to be taken care of. Yet this is the finale. It's similar to other series where the moment does portray as a sad and tragic moment, but the background and beforehand don't translate all that well. The pairing is fine in a sense, it's just the main villain is ending on a whimper. The strange part is how much Fairy Heart has contributed to this arc, and it barely left anything remarkable. It's entirely filler. That part actually makes it hard to comprehend. You can say that this chapter could be decent on its own, but the overall package would look bleak. Despite the iffy feeling with the conclusion of Mavis and Zera, I find it to be decent for its standalone moment, even if everything that leads to it doesn't work strongly. Then, Mashima decides to pull the big gun. Makarov is alive. I respect fans that want him alive and happy that he is, but going by my view on the writing, this was really disappointing. I'm not hungry for deaths, but I am overstuffed with fake deaths. I'm not entirely sure if he was sleeping all this time or he was revived by Mavis and or Zerov, but the fact that this guy cheated death over 3 times is baffling. Perhaps if they make it into a running gag, it would lessen the damage. Regardless, it damaged the sad moments that occurred throughout the arc, so now it begs the question, what's the point? The only upside is how Laxus always remained calm until he sees his grandfather alive, breaking into tears. It would have been effective, however, if he arrives at the guild home and begins to cry, finally giving in the thought of his grandfather has passed away. That would have got to me. But instead, we got this, and all's well that ends well. This chapter could be more divisive than the last chapter, as this one does present a neat closure to Mavis and Zerov, though the big picture raises tons of disappointment, and the return of Makarov all depends on the fans' desire to see him alive or not. I wouldn't mind that much, having not overdid the concept of fake deaths, let alone for Fairy Tail members. As the ending slowly approaches, it has to ignite the fire of excitement before it leaves us on a sour note. I'm giving this chapter a 6. I'm only hoping for the ending to have a good closure, for characters wise, and story I guess. What are your thoughts of this chapter? Did you like how it all ends for Mavis and Zerov? I find it to be a good conclusion in one way or another, but you know, I kinda wish Zerov has a little bit more meaning to the whole entire arc itself. It seems like it was like another arc that's taken care of for a character arc to be done, Mavis in this case. I don't know, it's a weird feeling, but I'm going to wait for the rest of the 9 chapters and see how this all works out. I'm just hoping it gets better. And that will do it for the review. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.